Hey everyone, Adam here with another RimWorld guide. People keep coming to the stream and asking me how I have so many colonists. So I decided to make a guide to answer the question, how do you get more colonists in RimWorld? In this RimWorld guide, I'll be talking about colonist join events, quests that result in someone joining your colony, buying new people from slavers, recruiting through nursing and taming, and lastly, converting prisoners to colonists. Before we get into the meat of things, I did want to mention that each storyteller does have something called a population curve that can affect the frequency of events which determine if you get new colonists or not. I covered this in detail in my storyteller guide, so feel free to check that out after this video if you have any specific questions about storytellers or population curves. Really quickly though, I'll tell you that the lower your current colonist number, the more join type events you're going to have. So, because it's more likely to get new pawns in the early game when you may only have 1 to 3 colonists, that's the time to be a bit pickier. Maybe only take someone that's relatively young, has no physical issues, has no traits that are detrimental to the colony or themselves. Then, when you start to get into the teens, open it up a little bit more. Will they actively hurt the colony? Can they fight? If they can help defend the base and aren't going to screw with what I already have, then that's usually good enough for me. The first way you will get new colonists is through join events. As the game has developed and received new patches and content, these events have become more and more varied. Out of all the ways to get new RimWorld colonists, this is the one you have the least control over. Occasionally, you'll have someone wander onto the map and instantly join you, or even fall from the sky in a crash pod and join you, with the extra bonus that they may be in a coma for 40 days before you can put them to work. As I talked about earlier, these events are more likely to happen when your colonist count is already low. As such, if you get someone that is absolutely terrible, feel free to either banish them or let them die. Both of these will only give a -3 mood debuff for a little while, unless they happen to be a relative, which is going to hurt a lot more. But it shouldn't be a big deal early game while your starting colonists have the extremely low expectations mood buff. Oh, and don't forget, strip them of any good clothing or equipment before they die. The last auto-join event I will talk about specifically is the Man in Black event. In the event that all of your pawns are incapacitated, either from death, shock, wounds, etc., you may get a Man in Black who auto-joins you. This is to give you one last shot at survival before everything is gone. You can count on them to at least be able to fight and perform first aid, but aside from that, they are not special in any other way, so it could turn out to be a terrible colonist. The Man in Black event has a cooldown, can only occur after your colony has developed to the point to be named. The second way to get more colonists in RimWorld is through quest joins. Occasionally, you'll receive a quest in which someone is requesting to join you. This can be tricky because you learn nothing about them other than their profession and age. In general, I try to remember a few bonus skills that certain prime jobs have and keep an eye out for those. Also try not to accept anyone from those quests that are nearing 50 years old or older. I'll talk more about that in my upcoming guide on traits and pawn selection though. In addition to this, you'll generally have to defend yourself against a group of enemies, or more, if you accept this person. So be sure to read what you're going to get hit by, and ensure you are confident in taking it out if you accept these colonists. Another note about quest events like this is that sometimes the event will have to be caravan to in order to stop it. So you might not want to take that 70-year-old Muffalo Shaman. It means a mech army will be setting up a psychic drone 10 tiles away from your base. Oftentimes though, these pawns may have relationships with your existing colonists, in which case you might want to take the risk. Now there is another join quest that was recently added in which you can take in refugees. The number can vary, but basically after a set number of days, they're going to decide to either join, leave, or betray you. So if you decide to take the risk, maybe make the new guys have their bedrooms and dining area on the opposite side of the base from everyone else, or maybe right next to the turrets. And you might not want to equip them with super great weapons and armor. You can also get new colonists from quest rewards themselves. To increase the odds of this happening, make sure to go to your quest book and then click the button in the bottom left that says Reward Preferences. Once you're in this menu, turn off Accept Honor and Accept Goodwill. Also, it's important to note that with this type of join quest, you can check how good or bad the pawn will be. To do this, go to the quest, then click the pawn's name. In this pop-up menu, you can check their bio and health tabs to determine if they are worth completing the quest for or not. The next way to get more new people in RimWorld is to simply buy them. Over your playthrough, you'll occasionally run into traders selling slaves. Don't be fooled though, you aren't really purchasing a slave for your colony. Well, I mean, that's debatable. But anyway, you're purchasing their freedom from slavery so they can join you as a full-fledged colonist. The great thing about this is that you're able to check all the stats of the pawn before purchasing. You do this the same way as with the quest reward system. You just click on the info button for the pawn from the store list and look through the various tabs. This can set you back a ton of silver though, so be careful how much you're spending. As a bonus, the new colonist will have a temporary mood boost from you saving them from the slavers. The next way to get more people in RimWorld is through nursing or taming. When a non-hostile pawn is incapacitated, you can right-click on them to rescue them and bring them to a medical bed or sleeping spot. Once you have nursed them back to health, they have a chance to automatically join you. Occasionally, you may have a random event in which a wild person comes onto your map. You can actually tame these people and they will join you as a full-fledged colonist. Just like other wildlife, you can always go to the wildlife tab and scroll through the animals to find any wild people wandering your map. To tame them, simply click them and then click the tame icon in the lower left of the screen. Make sure you have your best handler set for the job in the work tab as well as enough food for them to use during the taming process. The final way to get more new colonists in RimWorld, and the one you'll probably use the most, is to convert and recruit prisoners. I won't go over this in extreme detail here as that would take up way too much time and is best made into its own video guide, but I'll give you all the bullet points that you need to understand in order to effectively do this in your playthrough. First, you must either down another pawn or right click on them and choose arrest. You can do this to either enemies or non-hostiles. Just be aware that if you do decide to arrest a friendly, you'll make that faction angry. In many cases, this will make it so the arrested pawn's friends who are still on the map will attack you. So, once you've found a downed enemy, or perhaps a random traveler who's just too good to pass up, you decided to forcibly have them join you, you're going to need a prison cell to take them to. The only thing you need to denote a prison is an enclosed room with a sleeping spot or bed set to 4 prisoners. Be careful though, because once you set a single bed in a room to a prisoner bed, it will convert all others within that room. Once you've carried your prisoner to their new cell and have addressed any wounds they might have, you'll need to set them to recruit. To do this, select the prisoner and then click the prisoner button on the left of the screen. And here, click the recruit button in order to make it so pawns you have set to the wardening job will work on recruiting the prisoner. If you aren't sure yet if you want them to join, but you want to get started on the resistance anyway, you can choose that option. As I mentioned, there's a lot to say about getting and recruiting prisoners. There are ways to help you down more enemies without straight up killing them. There are tricks you can use to help people join more quickly, etc. But that'll have to get its own guide. For now, just know that having a prisoner in a higher quality room with a bed, a table, and a chair will help tremendously. Keep your prisoner as happy as you can. Don't steal their organs if you can help yourself from doing so. Have your best social pawn be their warden. You'll have them joining you in no time. All right, and that's it. So if you've been wondering how to get more people in your RimWorld colony, hopefully this guide answered that for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this guide and want to see more content like this on the channel, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment below, and like the video. And as always, thank you for watching.